Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. What is next, right? We have the 30,000 reduction that's happening by the end of the fiscal year. What else could be happening by the end of the fiscal year? I will tell you. It is the proposed rating schedule changes that could potentially go into effect August of 2025. These rating schedule changes are for auditory, respiratory, mental health, and neurological. Those four rating schedules. Now, there are some massive changes in some, there's some not so massive in others. The majority of it I would call not good. So, how do you circumvent it, right? That's the question. We're going to jump into it. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every minute watched really does help the channel expand its reach, which is really what we're trying to do. So, how do you circumvent the rating schedule changes that are coming? The absolute best way. I have a rooster. The absolute best way is to put in an intent to file today. Put in an intent to file now. If you're planning to file for anything specifically in any one of those four rating schedules, because they're subject to change. Now, you might think, well, what if it's going to be better later? Well, you still want to file your claim and you still want to get moving forward. And if the rating schedule actually moves in your favor, then once that actually gets implemented, you could always turn around and file for an increase. But again, the majority are in a negative aspect. So, for example, the elimination of tinnitus as a standalone rateable condition is evaporating. The ability to obtain a 50% rating for sleep apnea solely based on the prescription of, say, something like a CPAP, right? So if you're prescribed a CPAP, in today's world, prior to the changes taking effect, if you're prescribed a CPAP for your sleep apnea, you are rated at 50%. Once the rating schedules get updated and it goes into full effect, well, now there's an extra step. If you are adequately treated with that CPAP, then you get a 0%. So let me throw this out there to you. There's a lot of changes, a lot of nuance, a lot of things to navigate. You have direct service connection conditions. You have situations in which maybe you have some Nexus documentation in your file that's solid in your service treatment records. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have stuff that's outside of your service and you need to build that bridge back to your time in service. Whether you need a Nexus letter, DBQ, anything like that, you can utilize AME, American Medical Experts. They are solid. You can get a free consultation. Their information's in the description. If you're having problems putting your best foot forward with your claims process yourself and you cannot find a free accredited resource that is two things, credible and competent, if you can't find that, we here at Veterans Info Tap, along with the CivDiv, have partnered up to create evidence-based VA claims. And you can go to that website, which is which is Echo, EB, Echo Bravo, ebvaclaims.com. I'll also put the information and the email address in the comments and description as well. If you are seeking our service, please reach out. We're happy to look over your situation and let you know if it's something we can help you with. We've assembled a small team of people that we've personally trained and worked with in the past. So we got a solid organization here to help you. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what is happening with these changes. The VA has kicked the can down the road a few times on the projected implementation date of these changes. So the most recent change was to August of 2025, and it is still looking to be that. And with that being said, we have seen nothing indicating anything other than them moving forward. They do have, the VA, have a panel that is put together regarding these changes, and it is supposed to meet in August as well. So that indicates they're moving forward, in my opinion. Now, I'll read a few things just to give you a glimpse of what the VA is talking about on this. Again, there's some good, some bad and some just kind of in the middle. This notification from the VA is primarily on 3 of the rating systems, rating schedules, which is auditory, respiratory, and mental health. The neurological kind of came out after this, but in any case, let's move forward here. So it says that they will be making these changes to respiratory system, ear, nose, and throat conditions, and auditory disorders and mental health disorders. And it says, since these are proposed changes, they will not affect evaluations of any veteran currently receiving compensation for an impacted disability. Instead, this is an opportunity for veterans and the public to comment, which that's already happened. Moving on, some of the proposed changes, including modernizing. Sometimes he's close, and sometimes he just keeps doing that. All right, so some of the proposed changes, including modernizing the evaluation criteria for sleep apnea by evaluating it based on the symptoms' responsiveness to treatment. If symptoms are fully treated by a CPAP machine or other treatment, a veteran would be rated at 0%, which is what we had talked about a minute ago. And so that is, in my opinion, not good, right? VA will award progressively higher percentage evaluations based on how symptomatic the condition remains after treatment. This will bring the rating criteria for sleep apnea more closely in line with the stated purpose of the rating schedule, which is to provide evaluations based upon average impairment of earning capacity. All right. Next one, for respiratory conditions such as asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, the proposed rules would significantly lower requirements. Not significantly, slightly. That's a big difference. They both start with S. All right. So the proposed rules would slightly lower the requirements for a 100% rating. So that's good. I mean, it's not fantastic. It's slightly, but it makes it the doorways a little bit easier. So if you have asthma or COPD, that's something you want to keep an eye on because the criteria might get easier to move to the next step in the rating criteria. For tinnitus, the proposed change would recognize that symptom within the veteran's broader ailment and provide service-connected compensation for tinnitus through the disease in which it's attributed. I think that this is a horrible move for 2 reasons. One, when they do that, most of the time it's just going to be with or without tinnitus, and there's no additional bump in pay percentage. So it is what it is. And 2, I think that it's going to make it more difficult. The bar has been risen to prove that your disease that your tinnitus is attributed to is service related. Where before it was, look, I was mortars, I was artillery, I was on the flight line, I was a mechanic with pneumatic stuff, just so whatever type of noise exposure, that was the link, the nexus to your time in service. But now they want some sort of a disease to say that that's the cause. I disagree with this one wholeheartedly, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Moving on, the proposed rule for mental health conditions would increase the minimum disability rating from 0% to 10%. The rule would get rid of a dated part of the VA schedule for rating disabilities that prevents a veteran from getting a 100% rating for mental health condition if they're able to work. Those are both good things, right? The elimination of the 0% and the lowering of the threshold for the 100%. What's happening is instead of the VA having just a big long list of conditions and wherever you fall, they're breaking it up into 5 different domains, buckets within your life, and that's how they're going to determine where you fall. This isn't a video that's going to dive in deep on that. I've done many of those, and I'll keep doing them. But I believe that this is going to be better for veterans. I'll do a little more on it here in a second. But I think that we're going to be able to see veterans move from 30 to 50, 50 to 70, and even 70 to 100, in my opinion. But it's all in the work that you put in. It's all about your evidence, and it's all about having the conversations with your provider and getting them to document the information that you need documented as evidence. All right, VA will ensure veterans get the compensation they need and deserve when it comes to mental health. And here we go. This is what they're talking about here. So rather than assigning an evaluation based on the number and type of symptoms present for mental health, these changes would evaluate mental disorders based on how impactful the disability is across 5 domains. Now, they're going to call these the 5 domains of impairment, and they are cognition, interpersonal interactions and relationships, task completion, life activities and navigating environments, and self-care. Those are the 5. Quick example, if you're so the way they're looking at these is they're going to rate each one of those, a 0 through 4, 4 being the most impactful, totally impaired. If you're a 4 in any one of those 5 domains, you're 100% rated. Now, if you don't have any 4s, but you have 2 3s, right? So you're a level 3 impairment in 2 of the 5 domains, you're rated 100%. And here's the kicker that nobody really talks about. You don't need to be a level 3 impairment, for example, 100% of the time. Mental health doesn't work that way. It does this, right? And what they're looking for is they're looking for at least 25% of the time you are at that level of impairment. All right. So again, I'm going to do this little disclosure at the end, and just for clarity, there are about, I don't know, maybe 15 or so, 17 different rating schedules for rating disabilities through the VA. 10 of them have already been updated over the last, 8 years. So this is happening, and it's continuing to move. So don't think it won't happen. The other piece is people always wonder, am I safe if I'm already rated? This is directly from the VA, from the VA's mouth, so to speak. I've done other videos on this too, but the bottom line is the VA cannot reduce you solely based on a rating schedule change. But here's how the VA words it in their press release. So once again, there will be no change to any veteran's current rating based on these proposed changes. When the proposed changes are finalized, veterans who currently receive compensation for a service-connected condition can apply for increased compensation. And even if a veteran's symptoms no longer warrant the current evaluation they have based on the finalized changes, so the new rating schedule, no reduction shall be made unless an improvement in the veteran's disability is shown to have occurred based on the last schedule used to assign their evaluation. So what they are saying is if you're rated at 70% mental health and you apply for an increase, and for some reason they go, well, you on the new rating schedule, for whatever reason, you're not warranting that. In fact, it's actually less, but you were originally rated on this old one. They're going to hold you accountable to the old one, which is great. So people call it grandfathered in. Yeah, that's essentially what it is, but they don't call it that. And with that, we'll go ahead and end it there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.